Hello everyone, Pantoufleee here today for an exciting video concerning two new upcoming premium tanks, the T25 Pilot 1 and the T54E2, two American Tier 8 premium tanks that Wargaming officially announced on their Discord server. As usually, when they release tank that just hit the testing server, they only give us a photo. That's why with this video we're gonna try to find out what possible characteristics this tank will have. And of course, these tanks are coming from World of Tanks PC, so I'm guessing with World of Tanks PC adapting all the mechanisms from World of Tanks PC to World of Tanks Blitz to find out the best of each tanks. Now, let's talk first about the T25 Pilot 1 and why did I decide to start with this one? Because it's the least interesting out of all these two tanks. So, we're gonna do it like this. I'm gonna talk first about the armor, after the gun and the mobility, so it's gonna sum up both the tanks in the easiest way possible. Concerning the armor of the T25 Pilot 1, you need to remember one thing. Even if usually most of American tanks have a good turret armor, here it's not the case. With this one, everybody is going to penetrate you even in the gun mantlet because the gun mantlet is only 203mm thick, which makes it one of the worst gun mantlet ever from the tier 8s, at least for the Americans, especially when you're driving this kind of tanks. That's a bit upsetting, but that's how it is. Now, concerning the hull, that's the same problem. Everybody's gonna penetrate you at the front because you can't go up. When you're over angling, it's only 175mm, and on the sides, it's less than 50mm of armor. So at the rear, I'm not even gonna talk about it. You're clearly not HP proof, so really be careful about H's with this tank. Now that we know that the armor sucks and you can't even try to hold down, let's talk about the gun. The gun is interesting on this one. You're probably gonna have the same alpha damage as the T26E4. Concerning the accuracy, of course it's gonna be a good one. You're also gonna have a good reload because, let's face it, if the tank doesn't have a good armor, it means it has at least a good gun. Of course, maybe the main point concerning this tank is the mobility. Why? Because it's not like all the other American tanks. Usually American tanks, even mediums, can't go up to more than 45 to 50 kilometers per hour. Here, with this one, you can climb up to 55 to 60 kilometers per hour, which makes it more of a light tank playstyle than a true medium. And that's what makes it interesting, at least in my opinion. That's the originality of the playstyle. Of course, it's gonna be a bad tank, let's face it. Why? Because it's clearly gonna be a T23E3, but at tier 8. And let's face it, who is playing the T23E3 nowadays? Nobody. So clearly, this tank is not going to be worth it, or at least I'm going to wait for Wargaming to completely release the tank to analyze it and of course do an in-shop video. But concerning my personal opinion, I don't think it's going to be worth it. Now, just to finish on this one, I just want to tell you how the playstyle will probably be. I think with this one you will have to flank or circle, but clearly you will have to avoid the first line or the front line or even all down. You're gonna have maybe some tactics like peekaboo, you go out of your position, you shoot quickly without letting your enemies fire back, and you go back to your position or you try to flank. But clearly, this tank is clearly not made at all for first line. So that's what makes it not really interesting, at least in my opinion, because I know I'm an aggressive player, but if you're not a really aggressive player and you like to play it as a support, clearly this tank is gonna make it for you. Now let's talk about the second one. What you're seeing right now is the T54E2, an American premium tier 8 heavy tank. What you need to know about this tank, probably 2 or 3 main things. Concerning the armor, the T54E2 is really close to the T54E1 because they are sharing the same hull. Therefore, you don't want to try to show your hull to your opponents because everybody is gonna go through. That's the first point. If we talk about the turret right now, you have an extremely good turret armor. As you can see, it's really angled and it's armored as well. You just need to be careful concerning your cupola because, of course, when you have an incredible armor, you have a cupola, but it's not a big deal because it's not the same as the one you have on the T95E6, for example, which is huge. Here, your cupola is still small, Therefore, you can make it work in all down or even peekaboo situations, etc. Maybe what I would advise you to try with the T54E2 if you want to get it is probably when you're reloading, you still move to avoid avoid staying in the same position. Therefore, it's gonna make it harder for your opponents to shoot through your cupola. Now, concerning the gun, maybe you see some similarities with the T54E1. That's because they are sharing the same gun. That's the same gun, but, let me finish, we have one main difference. The gun on the T54E2 is not an autoloader. You will have probably 350 alpha damage, but clearly no autoloader. Probably you're gonna have around 10 seconds of reload for 350 alpha damage. You're gonna have a good accuracy. Is the gun good? I think the gun is quite average because it doesn't make you have broken DPM, and concerning the values of penetration, you still have nice penetration, don't worry. The penetration is not gonna be a problem on this tank. Now concerning the mobility, and I think that's interesting. Let's say that we can compare the T54E2 to a tier 8 T125, because with this one you're probably going to be able to climb to 40 kilometers per hour, which makes it a good tank to take advanced position at the beginning of the game. Therefore, you can play it aggressively. So I think I'm going to like this tank because for those of you who follow my streams, I really liked and I enjoy playing aggressively, so probably I'm gonna take it. You know what, in both cases I'm gonna take both of the tanks, so but I will do an in-shop video on both tanks. Now, how do you want to play it? I'm gonna finish on that. Probably with the T54E2 you're gonna have to do two things. When you want to shoot, you go for a straight all down, you shoot, and after, when you're reloading, you wiggle a bit your turret to make it hard for your opponents to shoot at your cupola. That's all you need to do with this one. It's probably gonna have the same traditional playstyle as every single heavy tanks in the American line are sharing the all down. That's all for the news today. I hope this video helped you a bit understanding the new characteristics of the upcoming tanks. If that's the case, feel free to subscribe, like and share. If you have any questions concerning the tanks, you can ask them in the comments and I will try to answer as soon as possible. Thank you all for watching and see you soon.